Opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
The Treasure Coast longest running local talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum. Get interested, get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Hey, everybody, you're listening to WSTU 1450 Treasure Coast Forum. I'm Amir Meehan, and I'm here with Mr. Frank Metzapelli and trying not to cry.
Aww.
Next time you retire, tell me 10 days in advance. Jesus Christ.
Okay, poor Amira. Okay, so we've got our
Pittsburgh Deb's here,
Pittsburgh
Ray's
Deb's in
here,
the house.
Amira's here.
Yes.
We're here to do a great forum show. We
Yeah.
can't wait to hear what Amira has done this week.
Yeah. She's
I know.
trying to compose
It's all right,
herself.
Amira. I did it last
Yes.
Friday night.
Why'd you tell her last Friday, not me?
Well,
You could have texted, so that I could do it at home. Not now, on air.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm sorry. So, anyways, so Treasure Coast Forum, if you're a new listener, is really a talk show about current events. It's about stuff, youth and government. Amira is part of that. She's the president of that club. And how many other clubs?
I don't know, like 5, 6.
5 or 6. So
And she's from South Fork High School.
yes. So so she's a very busy child, and really a spark plug for our radio station. We enjoy having her on air with us, and Ray is here, and welcome, Ray.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So you'll be doing some of the programming here in the afternoons going forward, and we're excited to pass the baton on to you. And you're a good friend and talented producer, and I know you'll do an excellent job.
So I appreciate this. So, Amira, what we're going to do is start singing. We'll have karaoke.
Oh,
What do you think about that?
Where did you come up with that?
I'm all about the fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a bouncy last name? What's your last name?
It's Ray Thomas.
Oh, no.
So let's bounce it.
I'm on Metzapelli.
You could
Well, maybe
change-
I'll change it.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
could do that on the air. You can do anything on the air.
There you go.
Yeah,
Get
absolutely.
a stage name.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Very good. Very good. So, all right. Well, Mira is still working to compose herself. So, Deb,
No.
what's going on?
Oh, I don't know. Everything's up and down.
Yeah.
I have to let everyone know I don't know if you're going out there, but people are sick.
Yeah.
I've had customers call in.
Mm.
Say one has COVID, one has the flu, one has a sinus infection, the other one has upper respiratory, and this has been going on for 2 weeks now.
That RVS, is that what it is, or
It's upper respiratory,
Yeah,
whatever it is,
yeah.
whatever new name they have this year.
Yeah, they got an acronym for everything.
It's
Everything.
mutated so many times.
Right.
Yeah.
So my question is, do we have the up-to-date vaccination? Because it keeps mutating.
Right.
Do we have to wait a couple weeks?
Well,
I'm
yeah.
not going to get
Well,
them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, what was this, a viral or bacterial?
Both of them are out there.
Both of them? They're both, it's viral and bacterial?
Yep.
Well, with bacterial, the thing is, the more vaccinations we do, the better it's going to, get that adaptation. And so then, of course, when you're a bacteria and you're
Right.
resistant to antibiotics, you're going to survive, whereas the other ones aren't. So then you only have the survived resistant antibiotics bacteria left. So they just keep multiplying. It's just Darwin's survival of the fittest. So there's really nothing we can really do except just keep every week trying to find a new one. But at the end of the day, one day we might not be able to find a new one. So I don't know. I don't know how quick we have to work. But then if it's viral and bacterial combined, that's very weird.
Well, they
Some
at
of them
one
are viral,
point
some
they
are
were
bacterial.
combining the COVID and the flu vaccine.
They were combining the vaccines.
You could get one, and it was taking care of both of them. This was about 6
No
months
wonder
ago.
people are getting sick. This is ridiculous.
Really?
Because of 2 different viruses. That's not
Right.
gonna. That makes no sense. Why are they doing that? Cheap?
I don't know.
Cheaper
No,
cost?
it was. This is what I read 6 months ago. Whether they're still doing it today, I don't know. But they have a separate flu and a separate COVID. But then about 6 months ago, they said, "Oh, this vaccine will take care of both of it."
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I'm gonna give you a heart transplant, but I'll just put a kidney in there instead.
Well, you are talking about a virus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they both
They're
have
different
specific-
viruses, though.
There are, and that one, COVID has been mutating so many times.
Oh my goodness.
You got to keep up with it. But again, it's a virus, so they're treated a certain way. So to look at what they're using to fight it, that's what you have to do.
Right.
You know, what are the elements that they're using to fight it? I mean, that would be the question to ask.
I mean, there's a cool thing called CRISPR-Cas9 where you can get someone's genetic code and you could like look at the bad traits and kind of change it and make a new code
Yeah.
with codons and anticodons.
Mhm.
They should do that, something like that, but that's so expensive. They should do something. Maybe could they do something like that when they make vaccines? But what they could do
Uh-huh.
is that they could have a vaccine that has a CRISPR-Cas9 kind of in there, and so no matter what genes or stuff change with the bacteria, they
Mm.
can change itself. It can change itself. Like it's a vaccine
like
that
a
mutates.
Genetic switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Where it just switches inside the body. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. You got a virus that mutates, and you have a
Then
vaccine.
you have a
that-
vaccine like the antibodies. Your
Oh,
own
that's great.
antibodies mutate with it,
Mhm.
Wow.
which would be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
that's well, I don't know if we can do that. I can talk about it all day, but I have to hire a bunch of Asians first.
No, it's a great question. It is a great question.
Wow.
Wish I
Wow.
had the answer.
Yeah. So yeah, for myself personally, I mean, they said, well, you're due for your, flu and all that. And last year I did all the updates and I said, you know what? I'm just over it right now.
Yeah.
I'm taking a time out. So
I did the one and done
yes. me too.
Johnson.
Yes, I
And
did that too.
Yeah, but that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't taken another one since, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I have not had COVID, knock on wood.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of people around me have had it.
Right.
I'm one of them.
yeah.
Okay. G had it a couple times.
Wow.
I think Cliff may have had it, and then a
Mhm.
few other people. The bosses haven't had it. Thank
Mhm.
goodness.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough not to have it, and I don't know if Evan had it. I don't know, but
I don't either.
no.
Yeah, I couldn't.
but
can't say.
I know that a lot of people around me. My roommate had it,
Mm.
and of course she's on the other side of the house, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I didn't get it. Knock on wood, I
Yeah.
didn't get it.
Yeah, good for you.
And I know people have had it a few times.
But I did like you. I did the J&J, and
Uh-huh.
then then there was forget the other.
We have Pfizer.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it begins with an M.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was another one.
Yeah, I know what you're
Moder-
talking about.
It's-
Moderna.
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 Yeah,
And so I
Moderna.
did the Moderna booster.
Mhm.
But it's 6 months, a year later,
Well,
whenever
Why would you get a
yeah.
booster if you had the Johnson Johnson? I don't know.
Because they said
Yeah.
it mutated, and then you wanted
Mhm.
doctor recommended to do the boosters.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it's
Best-
interesting.
Yeah, so I did that, but then I was like, okay, I've done this. I've done the booster,
Mhm.
and I had a mild case after the booster,
Right.
and that was it. I was
Uh-huh.
down for about a day or two, and then I felt fine.
Mhm.
And so it's like, yeah.
I had a dear friend. He had the boosters, and he had the Moderna,
Mhm.
and he wound up getting COVID 3 times.
Wow.
But the 2 times he got it is no big deal. He said the first time was
Yeah,
got,
knocked him down.
yeah, pretty bad.
Wow.
But he had it 3 times, and he's like, wow. And I didn't hang around with them.
No, I guess not,
I
yeah.
didn't get it.
Right.
But
Right.
So
So there's some stuff going on in the
Mhm.
news. I guess, and I talked about it just briefly before we went on air. But
Mhm.
one of the things was apparently the news of the day has to do with FEMA and the amount of money that they have available for the disaster relief. And apparently they've spent all their money. And it turns out the reason why they spent all their money is that they, between last year and this year, they set aside so much money, they don't have any left. And the money they set aside went for assisting immigrants, illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't go for disasters like on the West Coast in Fort Myers or
No.
Mexico Beach or, here
No.
we go, a
No.
big disaster.
Who
But-
controls the spending?
Government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there-
and then,
yeah.
but we
Votes, yeah.
spending billions
Votes.
of dollars to Israel and Ukraine.
Well, that too. That's a separate
And-
pocket. So they were looking for a bunch of money they can grab quickly, and they go, "Oh, we got a bunch of money here. There's no disasters going on. Let's take some of this."
That
mean,
is a disaster.
Right. What can go wrong?
Yeah.
well, that puts a stress on other organizations because they're going to reach out to the
Right.
Salvation
Red-
Army. They're
Red
going to reach
Cross.
out to Red Cross and other organizations. I can see that happening.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, Catholic Charities.
Hmm.
Sure.
But when
So-
the insurance companies don't want to pay up, who pays but FEMA?
Right.
And
Oh.
when there's a disaster like we
so,
had,
So
and-
there. Yeah. So yeah. What? And
Well,
another
and
thing.
if they didn't have flood insurance, they're screwed.
So you lost your house.
doesn't-
You watched your house go flooding or floating down what used to be the main
The,
road,
the French Broad River
and
through Asheville.
and then you get a call from a government agency says, "Oh, we've got a $750 check for you. That'll be the extent of your disaster relief."
Yes.
But it won't be a check. I think it'll be like a gift card or some sort of thing, and that's it. So a good friend of mine, I had lunch with him today. He just got down here. He was up in North Carolina, lost his house, lost his truck, lost his little Miata sports car, gone. So collectively, he lost about a little over $300,000. And his daughter had to come up and collect him and bring him back because he lost both of his cars. And but he's got his shirt on his back and a few other things. He's got a house down here in Stewart.
I mean, that
so-
creates a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is this mutual insurance companies, those are people that invest
Mhm.
in insurance companies,
Mhm.
okay? They get skittish and they want to back out
Yeah.
because they depend on people paying their monthly premiums on insurance so that's how they make their money.
Right.
So when you have disasters happen and they have to pay out,
Right.
they back out and take their paper.
Yeah.
So that is a stress and that creates a problem with the economy.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's going to be interesting how this is all handled with Helene.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what's your take on that?
Have you been following the disaster? I guess they've counted up to 200 bodies, and I'm told that they're still counting.
That's terrible.
There's still more people in North Carolina they haven't found yet as a result of all the
It's
flooding.
terrible.
Yeah.
Now, my
The
brother lived,
mudslides and,
Mhm.
and things too.
Mudslides,
And it's
yeah.
not only North Carolina, it's South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia,
Mhm.
Right.
Florida.
Right.
Mhm.
And I was just going to bring that up. My brother lives in Savannah, Georgia. Okay. And his apartment was flooded
Mhm.
and the electricity, of course, was out. So he lost all the food. And, thank goodness that the apartment complex, those people took care of cleanup, which
Mhm.
was good. It's totally not still, perfect, but
Right.
at least they got their electric back. But 7 days later, and how many people had to put up with no electric for 7 days? And the stores around them, even McDonald's and that type of merchant, was closed.
Right.
Where are you getting food from? And my brother had that problem.
Mm.
So,
Sure.
and I'm sure an awful lot of people had that problem.
Francis and Jean, one was like a week, 2 weeks. The other one was
Right.
3 weeks.
Right.
And the Red Cross came around with big trucks and fed everybody
Right.
and handed out water.
Handing out water. And I
Mhm.
remember those days. Unfortunately, I was involved in a car accident on US 1 in Stewart, standing still,
Hmm.
car coming across the median during Hurricane, which was Francis.
Mm.
The day after,
Yeah.
no, it was the day after my birthday
Oh,
in
I see.
2004.
Wow.
So that hit September 7th. I'm born on the 6th. And that was not a good birthday present.
No.
But again, we were going to get, like you said, water and
Mm.
ice
Mhm.
and food that was being handed out
Mhm.
because you had no power for quite a while. As I
Right.
remember
Right.
that.
Right.
Remember Wilma, the first half of Wilma wasn't a big deal. Now, the second half was walloped. Now, my parents lived in Fisherman's Cove.
Right.
We watched the Florida room go over the gate and into the lake behind us, the rain drainage.
Wow.
We
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
it and we had to laugh because there was one.
Slow mo, right? You
Yeah.
watch it in slow mo, right?
Well, that plus there was one that was traveling right behind my parents'
Yeah.
screened-in room
Right.
through the water.
Nice.
But so the
Yeah.
first half was really not that bad, but the second half was
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah. Back end of the storm.
It was
yeah.
Wilma. So if you ever watched the Flintstones,
No, she missed
I
that.
know.
She's not. You're not a big cartoon,
No, I am just not like older cartoons.
Yeah.
I've watched,
Oh,
I
okay.
know.
but you
So-
like old movies.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I like old movies, but that's like recent. I was like freshman year, and I got into that.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, but Flintstones, I watched a little bit of it. I watched like the '90s movie with that.
So the Flintstones,
Oh,
Yeah, I
just so
know
you
the
know,
Flintstones.
is really a
Mhm.
cartoon version of the Honeymooners,
Mhm.
Right.
don't
Yeah.
you think?
No,
Yeah.
it is.
Mhm.
And
It absolutely
so
is.
if you've ever watched some of the playbacks of the
Jackie
YouTube-
Gleason,
Jackie Gleason,
the Honeymooners.
yeah, and
No.
what was her
Was the
June
Flint-
not June Allison. June what was her name? June something.
Well,
yeah, yeah, I
Audrey
left my-
Meadows.
Audrey Meadows,
Audrey-
is, yeah,
yes.
but he had two actress wives,
Mhm.
you know, over the years,
Right.
and yeah, Audrey Meadows was one
Art
of them.
Carney, remember?
Yes, yeah, Art Carney,
Going way back.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie you were watching with the Flintstones, wasn't it? John Goodman
Yeah.
was Fred, right?
Yes,
Right.
yeah, he did a
Oh,
great
he
job.
Was great.
I thought that was awesome. Right?
That's good stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, what else we got going on? We got so we have that issue. There was the debate, which you were blessed that you didn't have to
No.
watch.
No.
so by all accounts, it looked like the Mr. Waltz
Did not do well.
did not do well, and he kind of had during the headlight moments,
Mhm.
as I'm told. And but it looked like J.D. Vance, Senator Vance, was more poised and more prepared.
Also, I have a feeling that they underestimated JD Vance, so they didn't give Waltz the blanket they gave Kamala. Like they didn't give her that. They give him that special treatment.
Well,
There was a live audience there, right?
I think there was there, but they also
No,
had
there was no
No
audience.
audience.
no
Oh, so they
audience.
even gave him blankets then?
There was no audience.
no.
Oh, okay. So
Well-
maybe he's just really bad.
Now,
So,
and
but,
of course,
but the viewership was incredible. I
Yeah.
guess they broke some records.
Right.
How many were they? 70 million people watched.
wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. But
Yeah.
the interesting part that
Mhm.
former President Trump was talking about that there won't be another debate, as he said.
Right.
We'll see if that holds up. I mean, just before the election, wouldn't it be a good idea to do that? But also, during the debate with Kamala Harris
Mhm.
and Donald Trump, fact check both of them.
Yes. Wouldn't that
Okay.
be nice?
That didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
And the interesting about the fact checking that they
Just
did
saying.
during the presidential debate
Yeah.
was that the fact checking they did on the former president
Mhm.
was inaccurate.
Right.
That's
Some
the
of it,
worst
yeah.
part.
Mhm.
And if you who's fact checking the fact checkers?
Right. Is it Wikipedia? We're in trouble.
I don't. I
I
think
mean,
the thing is
Right.
when you're inventing your own facts, you don't
Right.
want anyone checking them.
No.
Right. No, you
Right?
want to definitely
Yeah.
have the correct information. You know,
Yeah.
you do. It discredits you. Now, the two moderators reportedly were fired.
Were they really?
Yeah. That's
From
that,
ABC.
yeah. That's that was the report that I
Right.
saw the next day in the news. So we'll have to fact check that.
Yes.
But that'd be interesting. You have two respected journalists,
right.
and I'd
There
be-
were
And they weren't
obviously
probably handpicked to do that.
they're good. Both of them have been around for a while. They're not, rookies.
the
you know?
problem is they were solidly in the
You know.
tank.
They were probably
journalists.
bribed.
Well, no,
Well,
they
you know.
they were in the tank. Their belief system mirrored one of the candidates. And the
Mhm.
problem is, as a journalist,
You're supposed to be completely neutral.
Non-biased.
non-biased, and you don't carry any. You give everybody an equal amount of trouble. You ask tough questions to both candidates, and whatever the answer is what the answer is, and then
So
you
wait,
move
did the
on.
moderators come up with the questions, or did someone else write
The
them?
moderators came up with the questions.
Oh,
Well, what can go wrong?
I always thought that they
Yes.
were just the people who asked the questions, and then like I always thought it would be
Well-
like the American people would like come up with questions, and people
Wouldn't that
would
be
vote on
nice?
what they
That
wanted
would
to
be
ask.
nice.
Right.
That'd be
That's the
great.
way it
That's
should
what I
be.
thought it was.
No, no,
and then
no.
they just ask whatever's like the most asked question.
So what the moderators will do if
Mhm.
they're in the tank is they'll pose a question one way for one candidate and then pose a different question another way in such a way to make another candidate not look so good. So you can do that just in how you pose the question. And it should be, like Ray said, non-biased. You just straight journalism is you pose the question, you see what happens,
And it was, I believe, on the vice president debate, it was two women.
There was. and the vice president, the candidate Vance had to interject and stop them, stop the moderators, and say, "Whoa, wait a minute, you're not right. This is the way. This is the forum that we agreed to. We were supposed to do this, this, and this, and what you're talking about is off off
off the cuff somewhere.
not
Yeah.
right."
Mhm.
And so he had to bring them, and then one of them at least it said, "Thank you for correcting us," but
Mm.
you
But you run the show.
yes,
It's like
do
somebody
you
coming
do
in
that?
and somebody coming in and telling you, Frank, as you're hosting the show
Mhm.
with a mirror right here.
No,
Right.
on the
You
debate,
know,
wasn't
and
it
tell
Nora?
hey, you can't do that. You're supposed to be doing this. This is what it says. Really?
Was it Nora Roberts on the president debate?
Uh.
And the blonde-haired guy.
Dave, is it Dave or I forget his name?
He's on in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Um,
don't watch that, but
and he's in the presidential line.
politics, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the White House, whatever. And he's always on, I think, CBS.
Your
I
White
don't
House
know.
correspondent. Huh?
Mm,
Okay.
But he's like the chief.
Yeah, there's just some stuff that's like seem like it's baked in the sauce, and this has been the problem with the legacy media, in that they are definitely weighting the coverage to get a result that they want. It seems that way.
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, hence the term fake news.
Yes.
We've never heard that before,
Right.
And
just,
there's a lot of it.
there's a lot of
especially
it.
now with AI.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. I mean, a lot of
Mm.
Someone came up with this really crappy statement that you can't complain about the news when it's for free, because when they use this logic, if you pay for something, you pay more to get better quality. So if you don't pay at all, why would you expect to get better quality news? And they're like, okay, I'm like, what? It was really stupid.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I mean,
Yeah, no.
these journalists are highly paid, from the
Yeah.
major networks.
Mhm.
They need to give correct information to the public. I mean, they're paid to do that.
Yeah.
That's what a
Oh yeah,
journalist,
100%.
you know?
But
Mhm.
I think instead of like currency, it's how much you dig. Because if you just look at the surface level type of headlines and stuff, all of those articles are AI generated.
Mm.
All of them.
Right.
There's so many AI generated articles. So they're like, these corporations are like, why should we hire people and pay them to
Right.
take time to write something? Well, we can have like 500,000 articles on something in an instant released.
Right. And it's all about the clicks, right?
Yeah.
So the more clicks, the more views you get.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
they'll just hire someone and make a good headline, and then everything else will be written by AI.
right,
And it'll be generic. So it'll be a lot of nothing on a paper.
right.
And you can tell like all these articles, they sound the same.
Yeah.
So what happens when the IT people go on strike?
Right.
Yeah.
Just saying that there's your AI going out the window,
Right.
Yeah.
because without that, you're in trouble.
Right.
Opinions expressed
Whoop,
are
we
those of
got
the
it.
program.
There we go. All right. So we're going to take a regulation timeout. It's that mystical, magical time once again. And when we come back, we're going to talk Major League Baseball, because I'm a baseball fan. And so is Ray. Deb is too. So we'll give it a couple of minutes of that, and we'll introduce Samira to Tiger Baseball. All right. Thank you, Ray. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
And they'll walk out to the bleachers and sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game. And it'll be as if they'd dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick, they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
You're broke, Ray. You sell now or you lose everything.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
Ray.
All right. So that's excerpt from Field of Dreams. That is probably I just love that. That was
Is it because we're on playoffs?
Well, yeah, it really, I think, distills the magic of baseball.
Oh, there is magic.
Yeah.
In a lot of sports, there's magic.
There is, but something baseball is unique, is without a doubt
It's so American. That's
it-
what he's trying to say.
it is
Like apple pie.
It is not only American, but what I like about baseball, because I competed with guys that were over
You
6.
played baseball?
Well, yeah, with
Yeah.
kids, growing
okay.
up, and then I played a little bit in fantasy league.
Hmm.
But the thing is, I competed with guys that were twice my size, and I could still compete. And so it's basketball, you got to be tall,
Yeah.
and so
In football, you got to be a big bruiser.
Yeah.
So baseball is not only a skill sport, it's a mental sport. It is a full package. It is everything. So, and when the Detroit Tigers are doing well, I'm doing well.
Yeah. Well, did you hear this week when the Astros, they're going to Las Vegas for a little while?
Are they?
They're done. And people brought tools and dismantled the stadium because it was the last game, but not last weekend, I think the weekend before.
Mm.
And they were, and they're going to have another home team. Place to land, but I
Right.
think they're going to Las Vegas.
I didn't know
had
that.
been- And so people took
Mm.
the tools and they said, how cool was it to get a seat? They unbolted them and took them with them
Nice.
in different little memorabilia. They were selling the dirt
Wow. From the
on
field.
eBay for like $300 and some
Good
dollars
God.
for a Ziploc bag of dirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
They
But
probably got that from the backyard.
it could have been.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, and Yankees Stadium, when they built the new Yankee Stadium, they did the same thing. They sold, I actually framed for a friend, a customer of mine, a seat bottom from Yankee Stadium. And I built a shadow box frame for that. It came out pretty
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
remember that.
Yeah. And so, and it put the Yankee logo in there. As difficult as it was for me to put all the memorabilia for the Yankees together, I did it because it was a good paying customer. So, okay.
And you've
Yeah.
done jerseys.
I did. I've done a lot of jerseys. Yeah. Football, basketball.
Mhm.
Yeah. But, yeah, anyways, but that's always a lot of fun. But so the regular season baseball is over now. It is the playoffs, and the Tigers went past the Astros. They'll be playing against Cleveland on Saturday, and a few other teams are moving on too. So eventually, there's going to be one team from the American League and one team from the
National.
League, and they will meet, and that's called the World Series. and that'll happen in a few weeks from now, and that'll be the end of baseball for 2024, and then spring training starts back in March of 2025, and it can't come soon enough to suit me. But anyways, that's just so it's just want to spend a couple seconds talking about that because
we went to Forbes Field. I was younger than our co-host or host here, and I think I was 10 or 11. My dad would get tickets, and my sister and I would go ride the bus into town, take another bus, and ride it to this and go home. And today you couldn't let your kids do that.
No.
And we'd go watch the baseball games.
Sure.
We'd have enough money to get I think back then a hot dog and a Coke was probably a buck,
Nice.
maybe
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. Wow. So there's a lot of things going on in the news. We've got another storm coming. I guess we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow. It's supposed to be a little sloppy over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it all moved down days
Well, it
because
may-
they said Friday was going to be cold, and now it's Sunday to Monday.
Well, maybe they moved it, but I only checked.
I'll take rain anytime we can get it.
Well, that's true.
I shouldn't say that. We don't need a hurricane.
No. So but we do have some weather rolling in. So get ready just in case, keep
There's
few
a lot of
extra things.
misplaced people on the eastern seaboard.
Right. And I went to lunch today over Southern Pig and Cattle and took my friend to lunch. And they already had a box set aside for relief items to go up to the Carolinas.
Good.
So that's good on them for that. You'll see a lot of that as you travel about. So please be generous. If you go to Publix and you're buying something and it's a BOGO item, take the second item and put it in a gift box that can help somebody.
Actually,
in need.
Money works
Money
because
is-
then they can actually buy what exactly they
Right,
need for that area.
right, and the American Red Cross is your best way to do that.
Yes.
Yes, and Deb and I had the American Red Cross guy on the
Right.
show with us. In June,
Right.
when the hurricane season started. So, anyways, so we got stuff going on between Israel and Iran, and that's not looking good. Have you been following that, Amira? No. Probably good that you haven't in a way because it'll make you crazy.
Tell us about the bowling team.
Yeah.
You had tournaments, didn't you? A week or so ago.
No, they're just games. I'm really casual when I do it. I sometimes don't even wear the jersey. I'm just there.
Yeah.
But I finally bowled over 100.
Hey, you broke 100.
I got 116.
And they don't
That's
use
good.
They don't use the bumpers, right? Yeah. So
No slides, nothing.
No,
I don't
she's
know.
too old.
I was surprised I got there too. I wasn't paying attention. And I'm like, oh, because I was really crap. I used to not even be able to walk. I would stand right between me, my leg would be on the black, and I would just roll, and that was it. Because I couldn't walk and roll. But then I learned how to walk and roll, and that changed the whole thing.
It does.
It gives you a little more momentum.
As you
right?
look at the arrows and how you throw your thumb, thumb has to be straight out there, and then the ball sort of curves a little bit and goes. I bowled, and I'm not a great bowler either.
My mom used to be a bowler. She was in a league, and
Yep.
And I would call her up every week. How'd you do, Mom? And so it was great.
And it's all about the camaraderie more
Oh,
so than the bowling. And
Oh yeah,
having
no,
fun.
I'm just there with my friends.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
bet.
And that's what it's all
That's
about.
pretty much why I'm there.
Pizza
And is it
soft
Jensen Beach
drinks.
Bowl?
Stuart Lanes.
Stuart Lanes, yeah.
Jensen Beach. I love them, and I love the people there, and they make it so easy, and they cheer everybody on, and
Yeah.
So what's going on with Israel and Iran?
So Israel, well, they went ahead and they took out a lot of the leaders of these terrorist groups, which these people are giving the instructions for people to do bad things to Israel. Israel's just trying to survive. They're trying to keep them keep their people safe, and so these terrorists were terrorizing Israel with rockets and so many other things. So Israel went ahead and took out these leaders to make it more difficult for them to do that. So then I guess was it yesterday or the other day Iran sent all these missiles like hundreds of them to Israel, and a lot of them were I don't know how targeted they were, but they were landing all over the place. And they had their Iron Dome, but Iran launched so many rockets and missiles that the Iron Dome couldn't keep up with it.
Oh,
There's not that many. So they had, of course, they have their aircraft on the ground. They had to put them up in the air. They didn't want to lose their aircraft to falling debris, so to speak. And anyways, so there was, so it'll be interesting to see how Israel responds. The next, because it seemed to be ratcheting up the response each time from each side.
right. I
And
thought it was a drone hit that they sent out so many drones, and most of them were.
there were drones
and-
involved in
and
some
were
of the
shot down.
activities, but these were a lot of missiles. There was a lot of video I saw the other day on that, and so it's getting ugly. The next big thing that Iran has to be concerned with, because Israel does have bunker busting bombs that are designed to go underground, and because a lot of these bases they're really sensitive items, they bury deep in the ground, they put buried under several thick layers of concrete, so it's difficult for people to get to with just normal explosive munitions. So but they've got some devices now that will kind of tunnel and then detonate, and another one will follow it in and then detonate, and then you can take out some well hardened sites. The problem then is that some of these hardened sites are military bases that contain nuclear material.
Right.
So then you've also got these power plants that are, also driven by, and they use the power plants to make the material they need for making atomic bombs, right, or nuclear bombs. So they want to go after that and destroy those plants, those devices, so that they can't be used, because Iran has stated very bluntly that it's their goal to wipe Israel off the map.
Yeah, man.
So
And let's go back to Ray's question
sure.
about, to what extent do you think we should be giving money to others and not ourselves as a country?
Is it so? As long as it advances our national interest, it's okay to do that. But I think that comes after we take care of ourselves. So you take care of your family first, right? So if you're on an aircraft, let's say you've done some flying, right? So you're on an airplane with your brother, and the air mask drops from the ceiling panel. And what do?
You're supposed to do the mask for the other person.
Well,
Squishy.
Well, they want you. You take. Well, you're supposed to take care of yourself. Make sure you.
Oh no, I do it on Squishy first.
Okay, so the idea is you take care of yourself first. Make sure you can breathe so that you can help somebody else right away. So, so that's the idea. So you make sure you're okay, because in the process of trying to help somebody, you can maybe lose consciousness, and that's not going to be helpful.
Better than me seeing Squishy lose consciousness.
Okay.
But countries aren't squishies. So
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But I try to give you an analogy.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Gary Cooper movie Good Sam?
Probably.
It's very, like, it's not super, whoa, it's pretty kind of rare. I don't know, I just saw it on YouTube. But anyway.
Yeah.
So basically Gary Cooper plays this good Samaritan, but his name is Sam, right?
Right.
What he does is that he just gives, like, someone's like, hey, I need a car, and he's like, okay, you can take my car. As a complete stranger, right?
Right.
So then he just gives and gives and gives and gives, and he has nothing left.
Right.
Towards the end of the movie, and his wife is like pissed and
Yeah.
all that. He's a deep poop. But then the thing is, everyone who he helped decides, hey, he's a nice guy, and they help him in the end.
Sure.
So then, it's like one of those movies.
Right.
So I like, at the end of the day, it's kind of in our nation's interest to help other people because they'll help us back another time. But at the same time, it isn't. It's so weird. Like, it's so difficult to really think about it because at the end of the day, we could be drowning now, but if we help other people when we're drowned, like we're like in deep doo doo, they
Right.
can pull us out.
Right.
Which
They
is why,
don't.
yeah, exactly, but they don't,
They
right?
don't.
Because it's countries.
That's
just-
a question that is all over the place. How many countries have we helped? And since we're having this devastation, who stepped up to the plate to say, here, we're going to help these people?
No one,
Another
but
country.
everyone else is in worse doo doo than us. That's
right.
why.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna let
Our last regulation.
yes, yeah, we're gonna let the Lion King sing us out on the last break. So stick with us. All right, we're back. We've got a few minutes to talk about this day in history, my favorite thing to do, because that's what I do.
When we have nothing else to talk about.
We always have something to talk about, but I love this day in history, so we're going to try to do that. And today's this day in history is about a lady by the name of Mary McLeod Bethune. And as a girl, Mary McLeod Bethune dreamed of becoming a missionary in Africa. Born to in 1875 to parents who had been slaves, she grew up in Marysville, South Carolina, and working on cotton fields. She had a burning desire to learn, and made her a star student in Marysville, one of the one-room school for Black children. Scholarships led to more schooling in North Carolina. And anyways, she is an amazing person in history, born in 1875. So today's show is dedicated to a fellow student. And let's see now, also on this date in 1899, John S. Thurman of St. Louis patents the first motor-driven vacuum cleaner, described as a pneumatic carpet renovator.
Okay.
So that's what you call vacuum cleaners in 1899, is carpet renovators.
Why couldn't you just call it a carpet cleaner?
I don't know, because that's the way they thought about things. Because I guess it kind of rejuvenated the carpet. It probably
Right. It would bring up the nap
yeah.
and then
But
make it
cleaning
stand up.
is
and-
rejuvenating. They have to overthink everything.
Well, inventor, it's marketing.
He just wants to sound smarter.
Is that-
Today, that no one would buy that. No one would buy that
right.
if it was called that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And 1922, on this date, Rebecca L. Felton becomes the first woman to serve in the U.S. Senate, when the governor of Georgia appoints her to fill a vacancy. Now, up until I forget what year that was. Do you know the year, Debbie? I think it was like, I want to say it was in the 60s. Congress changed the rules that because prior to whatever that date was, I wish I knew the exact date. The Senate was appointed by the governor of the state, the 2 state senators.
Oh, no, I don't know the date.
Yeah, and then only in recent history were the senators actually elected
I'll look that up.
by which I thought was more representative, gives you more of a representative government to have the electorate decide who's going to
Yeah.
represent
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised when you said that.
Yeah, but prior to that, and I think it probably had a lot more to do with the communication that was available back then. It was
Yeah.
newspaper and probably
Pigeons. Nah, that's farther back,
Yes.
but I'm just gonna say pigeons.
or smoke signals. But so I think what happened was there was in order to fill those seats on a state level, because the senators are considered to be more senior members of Congress, and they wanted them to be more learned and what have you. So that was the original thinking, and then they felt the governor could appoint people of stature that could fill those roles, and that's why they made them 6-year terms. But yeah, kind of interesting. And then that changed. So this was just part of that whole program. I kind of devolved in my description, but anyways. And in 1955 in the state, Captain Kangaroo and the Mickey Mouse Club debuted on TV.
Captain Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo. I'll find some videos and send it to you. I used to watch him all the time.
It
1955.
says here it's 1913 that they went from being appointed
Right.
To elected?
to elected.
Okay.
Wait, what were the limits? Were the limits different back then as well for senators?
I don't know. It doesn't say that.
I think it's always been 6 years, but it may have changed. But anyways, but I always thought that was making it like
Oh, yeah.
you.
There's no re-election limit though, right? For
Correct,
senators. So
correct.
do you think there should be a re-election limit for senators? Kind of like how a president can only run 2 times?
I think so. I think there
I think
should
so
be a
too.
limit.
I think there should be limitations on all aspects.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think our even our
We
county,
have like 95
our
year olds
city
in the Senate.
commissioners, there should
Right.
be a limit.
I
Right?
know.
Or the
It's
House.
like a momentous occasion when they show up.
So the idea when the founding fathers created the country, the original thinking was that you would go to Washington, you would serve, just like going to the army to serve, and you would do your best to advance the cause for the United States, to help your fellow constituents as best you can, and understanding you had a budget, to work with, and stay within those constraints. Then you'd go back to your life at home, whether you owned a business or you worked a farm or whatever your role was in life. Being away for 2 years wouldn't be so devastating. And I think that was the original thinking, but somehow or other it turned into career opportunity. So when you were when you're a representative in Congress, you spend the first year doing your job, being a
And
representative.
second year trying to get reelected.
Yes. And then you do it all over again. And it's nuts. So you're always chasing money.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't even know if you're doing your job the first year.
well, yeah. And because you have to learn. So you probably have a lot of staff have to walk you through some of the policies and procedures and things of that sort. So you have to learn all that.
I think because the founding fathers were the type of people who be like, I don't want to do this. I want to go home and sleep.
Right,
That was literally
right.
George Washington.
right.
So they were like, no one else in their right mind would want to do this for fun for their whole lives.
right.
So that's the only problem. They just kept thinking that everyone was them,
Right.
which no, it wasn't like that at all.
No, no. But anyways, and the last item here is 1974 on this date, Frank Robinson of the Cleveland Indians becomes the first black manager in baseball's major leagues. And that took
In
place
1974?
1974. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty cool stuff. And
And we're back to baseball.
we are.
Yeah.
Yes. I love the theme. So it works. All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this show. And I pray that the show continues on and that you continue to be a part of the show and listen and tell your friends and listen to our sponsors. They help to pay for the programming. So it's been a real genuine opportunity for me and a pleasure to be with you all these years. And I look forward to listening in and all the future shows and maybe even a part on the telephone.
Not maybe.
All right,
Definitely.
All right.
Ciao for now.
See you now. Bye.